She accidentally texts a life-changing pregnancy test. Discover the billionaire's unexpected response. The rain danced against the bakery window, soft yet persistent, weaving a delicate symphony that somehow blended with the warmth of freshly baked bread, wafting through Jenna's beloved sweet dreams. But within her chest, an unsettling storm brewed. At 32, Jenna stood at the threshold of her dreams and burdens, a single mother wrestling with overdue bills and the reality that her spirited 7-year-old daughter, Mia, needed a new dress for the school dance next week. As she mixed batter in a bowl, thoughts flitted through her mind like the dancing raindrops outside. Would the bank really take her bakery after her second late payment? Was it too late to find a partner to help share the weight she carried? A sudden impulse took over her as she grabbed her phone and typed out a quick message meant for Hannah, her best friend. "I think I might be pregnant. I can't believe this. How am I going to handle it?" Jenna glanced at the clock. She had mere seconds before a fresh batch of muffins would need her attention. Without double-checking, her finger hit send. Moments later, the unexpected happened. Instead of a supportive message from Hannah, her phone pinged with a reply from an unknown number. Confused. "Are you sure you sent this to the right person?" Jenna's heart skipped a beat. She knew that number belonged to Carter, the reclusive billionaire who owned the grand mansion across town. News reports about his charitable efforts had painted him as an enigma she'd only glimpsed from afar. Now, suddenly, her thoughts tangled together, forming both fear and hilarity, a life-changing twist born from a silly mistake. Not quite. I was trying to reach a friend," she quickly typed back, her fingers trembling. But something in his initial response felt refreshing, lighter than the heaviness lingering in her daily life. Their conversation, awkward at first, morphed into shared humor. "So, let me get this straight. You might be adding a little one to your bakery?" Carter's words sent heat rising to Jenna's cheeks, but they also sparked a flicker of familiarity. For the first time in a long while, she felt unraveled, defeated yet seen. Another bead of pressure rolled off her chest as they dove deeper, into topics from life's struggles to audacious dreams. Right from the start, Jenna discovered they shared a universal desire for love and connection, the very things each of them had placed outside their reach. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. As days turned into deeper conversations, Jenna felt a strange kinship blossom, not just a connection, but hope. Carter revealed glimpses of his life guarded by walls, and beneath it all, she could sense he craved a chance to feel, to be free from the weight of his past. Each message they exchanged branched out, peeling back layers of vulnerability, revealing what lay beneath their facades. With every ping of her phone, Jenna felt herself wavering on the edge of a decision that could redefine everything. Here she was, a hard-working mother, yearning for security. And yet could she allow herself to step across that line into a vulnerable connection with someone from an entirely different world? What was at stake? With hope and a tinge of fear crackling in the air, she realized a truth. Love could blossom in the unlikeliest of places, even from an accidental text. But would she have the courage to embrace it? Jenna stared at her phone, her heart racing at the prospect of what this unexpected exchange might mean. She clutched the device, feeling both exhilarated and terrified, a tangled mess of emotions. Could it be possible that something meaningful had sprung from this simple mistake? The clock ticked loudly in the background, pulling her back to reality. The muffins were baking, filling the air with that comforting smell, but the warmth felt distant compared to the strange warmth spreading through her from the conversation. She was beginning to sip from a cup of hope, savoring its sweetness but wary of how quickly it could be snatched away. With determination, Jenna allowed herself to respond to Carter, typing slowly to capture the weight of her words, each letter calculated. "You know, I never expected this to turn into a deeper conversation, but you've brought a little light into my day. I don't know if I should be thanking you for that or scolding myself for mixing up the numbers. She hit send and drummed her fingertips on the counter, anxiety pooling in her stomach. The reply was almost instantaneous. What if I told you we all need a little light? Sometimes, it takes an accidental text to spark something worthwhile. Besides, sharing laughter over life's outrageous twists is part of being human. Right? Jenna's heart fluttered at his words. They resonated deeply. His understanding felt like a blanket wrapped around her shoulders. She couldn't stop a smile blooming on her face. Work at Sweet Dreams continued, but her mind floated between the dough and text exchanges, poring over Carter's insights. Each laugh shared built a bridge between their disparate worlds. She wondered if he felt the same spark, the same connection. Did he ever long for a simple, everyday life, or was he content with his wealth? As the weekend rolled in, Jenna noticed Mia dancing around the bakery, her laughter ringing like chimes in the rush of flour and sugar. "Mommy, can we pick out the cutest dress ever for the dance? I want to be the best dancer." Her excitement tugged at Jenna's heart, filling it with warmth and dread all at once. The cost swirled in her mind, but the innocent joy in her daughter's eyes was a pressure she couldn't ignore. "Well, kiddo, let us see what we can do," she said, forcing a smile through her apprehension, even as doubts clung to her like the flower dust in the air. As they browsed dresses that afternoon, Jenna took quick peeks at her phone, half expecting a message from Carter. His interest felt like a lifeboat in her tempestuous sea of everyday struggles. Back home with dresses scattered across the living room floor, Jenna's phone pinged again. It was Carter. "How about we let go of worry for a bit? I'd like to take you and Mia out for ice cream, my treat. No strings attached, just some fun and conversation." A rush of conflicting emotions surged through her. Ice cream with a billionaire? It sounded ludicrous and enticing all at once. But was she ready for that leap? Mia squealed from the other room, oblivious to the implications of her mother's hesitation. "Maybe it's just ice cream," Jenna mused quietly to herself. But in her heart, she sensed it could be so much more, a new path forged from a single mistake. She paused, fingers hovering over the screen. Could she trust this connection? Could this sprinkle of spontaneity transform her life? In that moment, her thoughts clamored for action. How much was she willing to risk for the chance at something beautiful? What would I be giving up if I said no? With a deep breath, she typed her answer, but her heart raced before she pressed send. What if accepting this invitation meant opening a door to a whole new world? A world she had never dared to dream could be hers. "Let's go for that ice cream," she finally typed back, excitement mingling with tension and hope. As she sent the message, a tingle of anticipation coursed through her. This could be the start of something completely new. But with each new step toward Carter, what truths remained hidden, waiting to be uncovered in the light of day? Jenna felt as if she were standing at the edge of a cliff, the wind rushing to meet her as she prepared to leap. She could hardly believe she had just accepted an invitation from a man she hardly knew. Yet, the more she thought about it, the more the notion exhilarated her. What if this was the beginning of a new chapter, an unexpected adventure that would lead her out of her daily monochrome routine? Her heart pounded loudly as she surveyed the living room. Mix-match dresses covered the floor, remnants of her shopping spree with Mia. Each one represented a piece of her daughter's dreams, her hopes for the dance that felt just a little bit distant from the responsibilities that sat heavy on Jenna's shoulders. This moment with Carter offered her a glimpse of light, not just for herself but for Mia, too. "What are you smiling about, Mommy?" Mia's curious voice broke through Jenna's reverie. The little girl stood there, dress in hand, eyes sparkling with wonder. "Just thinking about ice cream," Jenna replied playfully, her smile widening as she glanced at her daughter. "You're gonna love it. It's a surprise." Mia jumped up, squealing with delight, and Jenna's heart swelled. Whatever uncertainties lay ahead with Carter, this spark of joy in Mia's eyes made it worth it. They rushed to get ready, the pre-ice cream chaos quickly morphing into a flurry of giggles and excitement. Later, standing in front of the shiny glass facade of the ice cream shop, Jenna felt both nervous and exhilarated. A million what-ifs tumbled in her mind. What if he didn't show, or what if he showed up and was nothing like she imagined? Yet, deep down, she felt an undeniable pull to him, as if the universe had conspired to bring them together. The scheduled time. Carter arrived, his tall figure silhouetted against the sunset. The moment he stepped out of his sleek car, it was as if time stood still. He exuded confidence, and it mingled with a warmth that filled Jenna with ease. "Hey there. I hope you both are ready for the best ice cream." He beamed, his smile infectious. Jenna quickly glanced down at Mia, who was hiding behind her. "Honey, it's okay. Say hi," Jenna encouraged, gently nudging her forward. "Hi," Mia chirped, her shyness overshadowed by curiosity. "Hi there, little dancer." Carter knelt down to meet Mia's gaze, his voice soft and inviting. "What's your favorite ice cream?" "No idea," she giggled, her shyness melting away in the warmth of his charm. As they entered the shop, Jenna found herself drawn into light conversation, laughter bubbling up easily between Carter and her. Each scoop of ice cream seemed to symbolize a moment of connection, breaking the invisible barriers that had kept them apart. Yet, as they savored their treats, Jenna noticed something in Carter's gaze. It was a flicker of vulnerability, masked by his playful demeanor. He began, interrupting her thoughts. "I've been thinking a lot about what you said on the phone. About needing light." She stayed quiet, her spoon hovering just above her cone, urging him to continue. "I've had my own struggles, believe it or not," he said, almost guardedly. "People see the wealth and the easy life, but it's not always what it seems. Sometimes I feel trapped, like I've lost the weight of the world pushing me forward." Jenna's heart ached for him. She watched as he stirred his own ice cream, lost in thought. How could someone who seemed so effortlessly confident feel trapped? In that moment, they sat in silence, a shared understanding weaving between them. Wasn't that what life was about, feeling both heavy and light together? But as she gazed into his eyes, she couldn't help but think, does he really understand the weight of her world? Or was this just the charm of a wealthy man? Before she could ask the question that burrowed deep in her mind, Mia broke in with her innocent energy. "Can we go to the park next?" Jenna chuckled, grateful for the timely distraction. "What do you say, Carter? Ice cream followed by a playground adventure?" He grinned, and in that moment, Jenna felt the invisible thread binding them tug just a little tighter. But as the evening sun began to set, casting long shadows over their blossoming connection, she couldn't shake the feeling that new secrets waited for revelation. What truths lived in the shadows, and would they let the new light in or remain hidden? Jenna's heart raced again as she took a deep breath. Could they navigate the complexities of their worlds together? Would they truly meet each other without the facades? Or would she be just another fleeting moment in his life? As they strolled toward the nearby park, Jenna felt a mix of anticipation and uncertainty. Mia skipped ahead, her laughter ringing like a bell, while Jenna and Carter walked side by side, the atmosphere buzzing with unsaid things. The fading sunlight cast a golden hue on everything, making the world feel a little more magical, or perhaps just blurred enough for Jenna to forget the nagging doubts that clung to her mind. "Do you come to this park often?" Carter asked, breaking the comfortable silence that had settled over them. "Not as much as I'd like," Jenna replied with a smile, her eyes drifting to the playground where colorful swings swayed in the gentle breeze. "It's been a while since I took Mia here. Life gets so hectic, He nodded, a whisper of understanding crossing his features. "I get that. Making time can feel impossible sometimes." As they reached the park entrance, Jenna watched Mia scamper toward the swings, her energy contagious. It was hard not to smile at her daughter's pure joy. For the first time in ages, Jenna felt a flicker of hope flicker inside her, a sense that maybe, just maybe, she could balance being a mother and finding happiness for herself. Carter watched Mia too, and Jenna couldn't resist asking him, "Do you have any kids?" "Not yet," he replied, his expression turning thoughtful. "I guess it's been more about the career and other priorities for now. But I do love kids. They have a spark that makes everything seem brighter." Suddenly, Jenna's heart felt heavy again. How could she let him see how complicated her life was? That the spark was often dulled by responsibilities and worries? Just then, Mia called out to them, her voice slicing through her thoughts. "Mommy, look at me." Her daughter flew through the air, the wind catching her hair, pure delight evident on her face. Jenna's heart filled, but a flicker of insecurity swept over her. She had to make her daughter's happiness her priority above everything else, including a man who might be just a temporary balm for the wounds of her life. Carter, sensing her moment of hesitation, placed a reassuring hand on her back, drawing her attention once again. "You're doing a great job with her. You really are. She's got a beautiful spirit." Just those simple words sent warmth through Jenna. It was as if he could see her, not just a struggling single mother, but someone who was trying her best. For a moment, she let herself bask in the compliment, deeply aware of how starved she felt for affirmation. As they settled on a nearby bench, Jenna noticed the way Carter leaned in slightly, an eagerness shimmering in his eyes. "So tell me more about you. What dreams do you have, Jenna?" His question lingered in the air, prompting her to peel back the layers she had long kept hidden. "I want to be a dance instructor," Jenna blurted, her voice almost shaky. "But it feels like a distant dream. Why?" He prodded gently, the intensity in his gaze feeling as if it could see right through the shields she had built. "I guess," she started, hesitating, "I've been so busy taking care of Mia and working a stable job that I forgot to focus on what I truly want." Carter nodded, his expression encouraging. "Maybe it's time to change that. You deserve to follow your passions too." Jenna stared back at him, surprised by the earnestness of his words. Could she actually dream again? Could she grasp something beyond her daily grind? Just then, Mia returned with a handful of flowers she'd picked, flowers that were nestled in the grass, bright and trembling in the evening light. "Mommy, look what I found," Mia exclaimed, holding them out with pride. Jenna smiled, feeling that little spark of hope reignite. Carter leaned close. "They're stunning, just like you both. But was it too much? Was this all temporary? Just an escape from the heaviness of life?" Carter continued, "Jenna, what if we explored your passion for dance together?" A rush of adrenaline chased through her veins. Did he really mean that? The question sparked a flicker of excitement inside her, but also fear. What if she leaned on him only to fall hard later? Together? She echoed, her heart racing. "Yeah, I can't dance worth a lick, but I do love to see the world through your eyes." His smile widened in genuine invitation as the words settled between them. The air was thick with possibilities. Suddenly, this wasn't just another outing. It felt like a pivot point in her life, a chance to leap from the edge of the cliff she had once stood atop. But as they prepared to head back, a notification chimed on Carter's phone. He glanced down, his expression changing subtly. Jenna couldn't shake the feeling that whatever was on that screen was important, possibly pulling him back into a world of responsibilities. Could he handle being a part of her messy life? And as the distance between them began to shift back to reality, Jenna's heart pounded with uncertainty. What truth was waiting to emerge from that phone, and could this fragile connection withstand the weight of unspoken challenges? Jenna's heart skipped a beat at the sight of Carter's face, the lightness fading as he stared at his phone, the warmth of their exchange already dissipating. The vibrant colors of the park seemed to dull, swallowed by the weight of the moment. "Excuse me," he murmured, stepping a few feet away to take the call. Jenna watched him, her stomach a knot of unease. She cradled the bunch of flowers Mia had given her, their bright petals now seeming somehow heavy in her hands. She wanted to take a step back from the emotions swirling in the air, to hide behind the familiar barriers she had built around herself. Outside, the happy shouts of children on the playground rang, but all she felt was the emptiness growing in the pit of her stomach. Mia, oblivious to the shift, continued swinging with joy, her laughter echoing like soothing music. The innocence of childhood was a fragile thing, and Jenna longed to bask in that happiness rather than face the potential pain of disappointment looming ahead. Carter turned back to her, his expression a mix of concern and apology. "I'm sorry about that," he said, shoving his phone back into his pocket. "Just a quick work thing." "Oh, no problem. Life happens," Jenna replied, forcing a smile that felt foreign on her face. The flicker of hope from earlier felt dimmer now, eclipsed by her insecurities. Could she truly open up and allow someone into her life? He sat back down on the bench, closer than before, and they shared a brief look filled with unspoken thoughts. "So about dancing," he said cautiously. "What's holding you back?" She hesitated, the fear of vulnerability creeping back in. "Everything," she finally admitted. "Time, money, the risk of failing. I haven't danced in so long. It feels like a different lifetime. Maybe it's time to revive that lifetime," he suggested. There was no judgment in his voice, only a genuine desire to see her shine. "What if we started small?" Jenna could hardly breathe, excitement mixing with trepidation. "What do you mean?" Like a few classes together. "That'll be fun. And who knows, you might find that spark you've been missing." His enthusiasm was infectious, yet doubts washed over her like cold water. "I wouldn't want to lead you into chaos. Our lives are already complicated." "Chaos is just another word for adventure," he teased lightly. But the sincerity in his eyes reminded her of how much she craved the freedom to be herself, to feel alive again. Mia bounded over to them, her face glowing with joy, clutching a new collection of flowers. Look, I found more," she chirped, as if sensing the heartwarming shift in the air. Jenna couldn't help but laugh, the heaviness lifting for a brief moment. "You're collecting a whole garden," she encouraged, feeling a smile break through the tension. Carter's gaze softened as he watched the exchange. That light in her eyes? It's exactly like yours when you talk about dance," he said quietly. The compliment struck deep. Maybe they both had the same flicker of hope buried within them. But as Mia tugged at Jenna's shirt, urging her to see the butterflies and the flowers, Jenna felt a tugging from a different place. Carter's phone buzzed again, and this time, the expression on his face shifted to something unreadable. "Sorry, just a moment," he said, stepping away again. She couldn't shake the feeling that whatever news he was getting was pulling him back into the world she was trying to navigate out of. As he turned his back to her, Mia chimed in, "Is Carter okay, Mommy?" With a softness that only a mother could muster, Jenna replied, "I think so, sweetheart. He's just busy with work." But was that the only issue brewing in the shadows? What if he was just a chapter, a fleeting moment in her otherwise hectic life? When Carter returned, he carried a new weight on his shoulders, a burden that felt all too familiar to Jenna. "I have to go," he said, his voice stronger now, firm and composed. "Something's come up I need to handle." The words struck her like ice. Felt like a goodbye, even if it wasn't. "Let's definitely talk about the dance classes, though. I want to help you find that passion." They shared a smile, a flicker of something bright again. Yet the promise hung loosely in the air, fragile as the flowers Mia's hands held. As Jenna watched him walk away, her chest tightened. Was their moment just slipping through her fingers? What awaited them both beyond this park? Change was knocking, but could she answer? And as she held onto Mia's tiny hand, the echoes of laughter faded into the distance, leaving only questions swirling in the silence. Would she let life take her on that adventure, or would she stand still, afraid of what might come next? Jenna sat on the park bench, the vibrant colors around her dull and surreal. Mia continued to chase butterflies, her laughter a sweet counterpoint to the weight that had settled on Jenna's heart. She clutched the flowers, vibrant but heavy, and felt the world tilt ever so slightly. "Mommy, look," Mia's voice broke through her thoughts. "I caught one." Jenna turned just in time to see her daughter proudly, holding a delicate butterfly perched on her finger. The sheer joy in Mia's eyes was a light, but it only deepened the shadows that loomed over Jenna. Did she have the strength to nurture such innocence? Could she weave a world of brightness around Mia amidst her own fears? She forced a smile, masking the storm within. "Wow, that's beautiful, sweetheart. Just like you. Can we take it home?" Mia asked, eyes shining. Jenna hesitated, the weight of the day still pressing against her. Let it go. Butterflies are meant to fly free." A small part of her wished for the same freedom to release her anxieties into the wind and chase after something that made her heart sing. Mia nodded, but the disappointment darkened her gaze. She gently cupped the butterfly in her hands, her little fingers trembling. Just think of it as a friend you will always remember, Jenna encouraged, but the words felt hollow. She envied her daughter's ability to embrace joy without the shadow of life's complications. As Mia took a deep breath and released the butterfly into the sky, Jenna felt a flicker of hope blossom, like a seed breaking through the surface of the soil. Perhaps letting go could be the first step toward finding herself again. Suddenly, a familiar voice pulled her from the moment. "Hey, I'm back." She turned to find Carter walking toward her, his expression softening when he caught her gaze. "I know I said I needed to go, but I couldn't just leave without making sure you're okay." That small gesture made her heart flutter. "I'm fine. Just thinking about dancing, maybe?" He settled beside her, his presence bringing a warmth that wrapped around her like a comforting blanket. "I don't know," she said, her voice shaky. "I feel out of touch, like I've forgotten how to be that person." "Maybe you just need to remember," he proposed gently. There was an intensity in his eyes that made her swallow hard. "Listen, I believe in you. You have this fire inside, Jenna. I can see it. Don't be afraid to let it out." His encouragement mingled with her insecurities, creating a complicated swirl of emotions. The chaos she feared felt more like a challenge now. "Okay," she finally whispered. "Let us try those classes. I want to find that spark again." His smile lit up his face like the sun breaking through clouds. "It's a date, then." But before the brightness could settle in her heart, his phone buzzed again. The moment shifted, pulling her back into uncertainty. Just as before, he turned away to take the call. Watching him from the corner of her eye, Jenna's stomach twisted. She couldn't shake the feeling that they were stuck on a precipice, as if everything could slip away at any moment. Mia tugged at her sleeve, her gaze fixed on Carter. "Is he your friend, Mommy? He looks nice." "Yeah, he is," Jenna replied softly, feeling the warmth of that word. "But it's complicated." "Why?" Mia asked, brow furrowed in innocent confusion. "Sometimes, grown-up things are hard to explain." "Kiddo," Jenna said, figments of her own confusion swirling in her mind. But Mia didn't need to hear about adult dilemmas. She just needed to know that love exists in the cracks of life. Carter returned, his expression serious yet gentle. "I need to take care of something. Can we meet tomorrow to talk about our first dance class?" "Sure," Jenna said, her heart racing. Tomorrow sounds good. It was a lifeline, and she felt herself reaching for it. As he turned to leave, a weight lifted slightly, but uncertainty still clouded her vision. It was one step forward, but was it truly enough? "Mommy, does Carter like dancing?" Mia's innocent question hung in the air. Jenna considered it, but little did she know the complexities of. Tomorrow would test every ounce of courage she had found. As Carter walked away, she felt the thrill of possibility mixed with the fear of the unknown. What would tomorrow bring? Would they truly take that leap together, or would the dance of uncertainty pull them apart? In the distance, the setting sun painted the sky with a hint of hope. But in Jenna's heart, the question lingered. Could she step into the rhythm of life again, or would she let the music fade away? The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows that stretched across the park. Jenna watched as Mia skipped over to the playground, her laughter echoing like music that filled the air. But as the vibrant glow of the day faded away, so did Jenna's excitement, making room for a familiar shadow of doubt. What if tomorrow didn't hold the promised change? The thought hung heavy in her mind. The day had been filled with fleeting moments of light, the fluttering of Mia's butterfly, Carter's infectious smile, and the tender promise of a dance class. Yet here she was, tethered to uncertainty. She pushed herself off the bench and walked toward Mia, who was now climbing up the slide. The girl was determined, her tiny feet finding secure footing with an unwavering focus Jenna admired. It reminded her of how she used to be fearless, eager, and chasing after every opportunity life threw her way. She felt an ache in her chest for that version of herself. "Mommy, come play," Mia called, balancing on top of the slide, her arms outstretched like she could take flight. Jenna hesitated. Could she really muster the energy for play? Her heart whispered yes, even as her mind pulled back. "You're tired," it said. "You don't have it in you." But as she looked into her daughter's expectant face, she felt a flicker of resolve. "Okay, I'm coming," she called back, breaking into a grin as she approached the playground. Something inside her stirred a mix of apprehension and excitement. She hoisted herself up the ladder, feeling the cool metal against her palms. At the top, the view was exhilarating. She could see the entire park, filled with families enjoying the last rays of sun. It felt larger, fuller, and Jenna couldn't help but compare it to her own small world, confined and clouded by worry. On three. 1, 2, 3, Mia shouted, and they both slid down the slope together, squealing as they landed on the soft grass below. For a moment, nothing else mattered. There was just laughter and the joy of being together. But as the playful moment lingered, her thoughts inevitably shifted to Carter. His gentle encouragement replayed in her mind. She felt a warmth spread in her chest. Was it hope or fear? The two emotions seemed to dance together, complicating what she thought was simple. Would he really make time for her? "Mommy, are we going dancing tomorrow?" Mia asked, breaking through her internal debate. "Yup," Jenna said, her heart swelling at the thought. "Just like we talked about. Remember?" Mia nodded, her eyes shining. "And you'll be the best dancer ever." The conviction her daughter had made Jenna laugh, but it also grounded her. She wanted to believe it too. If this was to be a new beginning, then she needed to step into it fully. With Mia's hand holding tight to hers, they wandered back toward the bench. As they passed a group of teenagers playing frisbee, a sudden thought hit her. Maybe Carter wasn't the only one who could encourage her. Perhaps she could find a way to inspire her daughter, too. Just as that realization blossomed, her phone buzzed in her pocket, jolting her back to reality. Pulling it out, she frowned at the unexpected message. "Hey, remember our conversation the other day? Can you send me what you think about the project we discussed?" Jenna stared at the screen. She didn't recognize the number. "What's wrong, Mommy?" Mia asked, peering curiously at her phone. "It's just a work thing," Jenna replied vaguely, trying to shake off the disorientation. As she began to type, her finger hesitated on the screen. In a moment of distraction or perhaps wishful thinking, she considered sending her thoughts about dance, opening up about Carter, her dreams, and fears. But just as she was about to hit send, another text came through, this time from the same number. "My buddy needs that update as soon as possible." Jenna felt a knot form in her stomach. Who was this? A flurry of thoughts raced through her mind. This wasn't just a random message. It was a reminder of the life she was trying to escape. As Mia tugged on her sleeve to get her attention, Jenna's heart raced. The click of her phone as she sent her message echoed ominously in her ears. Would this small message ripple through her plan tomorrow? Just when she thought she was finding her footing, a storm threatened to brew. "Mommy, what's wrong?" Mia's small voice broke her reverie. Jenna's smile faltered. "Nothing. Just let us go home." Little did she know, the unexpected twist of her phone would lead her on a path that would challenge everything she thought she knew about love, friendship, and the choices that define who she is. What new chapters awaited her in this uncharted territory? The air was cooler as Jenna walked back home, Mia skipping ahead with a buoyancy that Jenna wished she could tap into. Every step felt heavier for Jenna, weighed down by the questions swirling in her thoughts. The sun had disappeared completely, leaving behind a palette of fading colors. But within her, whispers of doubt continued to rise. "Mommy," Mia's voice cut through her distractions. "Can we get ice cream?" Jenna hesitated, her mind swimming with the consequences of saying yes. It seemed innocent enough, but those small indulgences felt like a slippery slope. Yet, seeing Mia's eager face, that contagious excitement, and the lingering laughter from the park made it hard to hold back. "All right, let us do it. Just one scoop," Jenna relented, knowing that sometimes moments like these were what made life feel richer. As they stepped into the familiar ice cream shop, a sense of warmth enveloped her. The vibrant colors of sprinkles and shiny tubs filled with an array of flavors greeted them. The chatter of children and the comforting hum of the ice cream machine felt like a safe haven. "What flavor do you want, sweet pea?" Jenna asked, kneeling down to Mia's eye level. Mia pondered, her brow furrowing in concentration as she scanned the options. "I want the rainbow one," she exclaimed, pointing to the colorful swirls almost bouncing off the scoop. "Of course. One rainbow scoop coming right up." Jenna laughed and placed the order. While they waited, Jenna couldn't help but reflect on how something as simple as ice cream could bring about such joy. After all, wasn't this what she had been missing? The small joys in her life always overshadowed by work, responsibilities, and worry. Even the message from earlier, which still nagged at her, faded against the backdrop of her daughter's delight. "Here's your rainbow treat." Jenna handed Mia the cone, and the girl's eyes sparkled with delight. She took a big lick, letting it melt into her smile. That infectious happiness filled Jenna's heart to the brim. "Cheers, Mommy," Mia shouted, raising her cone high. Jenna chuckled, mimicking her daughter's gesture. "Cheers." As they walked back outside into the cool evening air, Jenna's phone buzzed again. This time it was a different name caller. Her heart tapped a nervous rhythm against her chest. Should she answer? Without thinking, she opened the text. "Hey, hope your day went well. Just wanted to check in on the dance class tomorrow. I'm excited to see you both." In that moment, something shifted within her. The flicker of hope ignited once more, chasing away the shadows of self-doubt. She couldn't ignore the warmth that spread at the thought of seeing him again. "Mia," she said, focusing on her daughter, "how about we practice dancing together tonight?" Mia's eyes widened with unfiltered joy. "Yes. Can we do twirls and spins?" "Absolutely. We'll have a dance party right in the living room," Jenna replied, walking a little faster now as ideas swirled in her mind. The sight of her daughter so excited pushed the worries further away. Perhaps this was the change she needed, more moments filled with laughter, encouragement, and dancing. But before she could continue that train of thought, her phone chimed again. A reminder from her calendar linked to work deadlines popped into view. Jenna's heart sank slightly. The world was still waiting for her, the demands, the emails, the worries. "Mommy?" Mia's voice pulled her back again. "What if we get to dance on stage someday?" "On stage?" Jenna laughed, but the vision didn't seem so far-fetched anymore. "Well, why not? Let us make it happen." But what Jenna didn't anticipate was that the next day would bring more than just dance. The universe had a way of pulling her into unexpected paths, and the storm brewing wasn't just about her work. That night, as they twirled together in the living room, Jenna's heart ached with both joy and apprehension. The uncertainty of tomorrow loomed ahead, but with Mia's laughter as the soundtrack, she felt a newfound courage to embrace it all. Little did she know, it was only the beginning. The next twist in her journey was just around the corner, waiting to challenge everything she believed about herself and her future. Would Jenna have the strength to confront the oncoming changes? Would tomorrow finally bring the clarity she so desperately sought? The next morning dawned with a golden light spilling through the curtains, illuminating the room that felt like a jumble of dreams and reality. Jenna blinked sleep from her eyes and stretched, the day ahead already whispering promises of adventure. Mia had already leaped out of bed and was bound for the living room, her youthful spirit infusing the house with energy. "Mama, look what I can do," Mia's voice called out, followed by the sound of her tiny feet pattering across the floor. Jenna's heart swelled. She quickly threw on a loose sweater and joined her daughter. The sight of Mia, cheeks flushed with excitement, made Jenna forget the weight of her responsibilities for a moment. "Wow, you're a little tornado." Jenna grinned as Mia spun and twirled in a makeshift dance. "I want to be a ballerina," Mia announced, her voice filled with determination. "How about we start ballet classes?" Jenna suggested, surprised at her own spontaneity. "Yes, yes, yes." Mia jumped up and down. But behind the joy lay the whisper of uncertainty still clinging to Jenna. Was she ready to delve into a new world of classes and commitments? But before she could spiral into worry, Her phone buzzed, another reminder of the life that pulled at her. "Time to get ready for dance," Jenna declared, masking her uncertainty with enthusiasm. She rushed through breakfast, while Mia sat, swinging her legs in excitement. The dance class was a short drive away, and despite the tension in her shoulders, Jenna found herself buoyed by the contrast of her little girlish joy. When they arrived at the studio, the vibrant energy inside was palpable. Young dancers darted around, each giggling and chattering, a mesmerizing whirl of innocence. Jenna felt herself relax, especially when she saw Carter waiting by the entrance, a friendly smile lighting up his face. "Hey, there you both are," he called out and bent down to chat with Mia, who immediately glowed under his attention. "I'm ready to dance," Mia said with all the confidence in the world. Carter laughed. "I'll bet you'll be the star of the show." Jenna felt a warmth blossom in her chest. There was something about Carter that made her worries seem smaller, like the sun shining through clouds. As they entered the studio, Mia dashed off to join other kids her age, leaving Jenna and Carter to talk. "Are you excited for class?" he asked, his eyes sparkling. "More than I thought I'd be," Jenna admitted, surprised. Here, in this space full of possibility, she could almost see a path unfolding as they began stretching side by side on the polished wooden floor. Jenna felt a twinge of hope. This was about more than just dancing. It grounded her in the here and now, reminding her of the joy she often pushed aside. But in the midst of the routine and laughter, her phone buzzed again. An unfamiliar name flashed across her screen. Amanda. Curiosity urged her to glance at the message. "Hey, Jenna. I just wanted to ask about the project from last week. Can you send me that file?" Jenna grinned, her mind dancing between business and this new world of rhythm. But just as she started to type, an accidental slip of a finger sent a different, more personal message into the void. In that instant, Jenna's heart raced. She didn't realize that what she meant to send to her friend about a meeting had turned into a very different conversation, a life-changing pregnancy test confirmation instead. Panic set in as she stared at the screen. Would this text lead to confusion, laughter, or something more serious? And before she could even process it, Carter looked over, his brow furrowing in curiosity. "What's wrong?" he asked, concern lacing his voice. Jenna felt her heart race, the weight of her slip so heavy. How could she untangle this unexpected mess? As she opened her mouth to explain, time seemed to freeze, and the path ahead became clouded with uncertainty. Would this moment slip away quietly, or would it spiral into something much bigger? How would Jenna find her way out of this? Would she have the courage to correct her mistake, or would her life take a turn she never anticipated? Jenna stood at the precipice of her world, a weighty moment thrumming in the air. She felt like she was teetering on a tightrope. One false move might send her spiraling. She glanced at Carter, who was still looking at her with concern, anticipation hanging in the air. I sent a message by mistake," she stammered, a nervous laugh escaping her lips. But something inside her shifted. This wasn't just another mistake. "Okay," Carter said, leaning in, his gaze softening. "What kind of message?" With her heart echoing like a drum, Jenna didn't want to wallow in fear. She had to embrace vulnerability, even if it scared her. It was meant for a friend, but it was about a pregnancy test. "I think I might be pregnant." She could barely breathe, the words hanging in the air like fragile glass. The silence stretched between them, thick and charged. Jenna's pulse quickened as Carter's eyes widened in surprise. The bustling sounds of the dance studio faded. Everything fell away except for them. "Wow," he finally said, "that's a big deal." There was an edge of awe in his voice, a mix of curiosity and compassion that made Jenna believe he was genuinely engaged in her reality. "I didn't mean to send it to you. It was an accident," she hurriedly explained, her nerves bubbling into a laughter that was more about relief than embarrassment. But as she saw the shimmering recognition in his eyes, Jenna felt a new kind of courage welling inside her. Maybe she'd been wrong to hide behind her fear. "Accidents can lead to big changes," Carter said, his tone encouraging. "But if you were pregnant, it's something serious and serious." Jenna interrupted, her voice rising. "Carter, My life is already complicated. I'm a single mother. I run a bakery, and I can hardly keep up as it is. Adding something else, I don't know how I could handle that. He placed a soothing hand on her shoulder, grounding her. Listen, I'm not saying you should decide anything right now, but I will say this: your situation resonates more with me than you might think. Really? Jenna turned that over in her mind, attempting to decipher his words. You? Let me tell you, he said, serious now. I've spent years building this empire, chasing success for the wrong reasons. It was just me, chasing after something that felt empty. There are parts of my life I wish I could change. The way he spoke, Jenna felt him radiate raw honesty, a depth she'd longed for, just as he had. What's your point? I'm saying that unexpected changes can open doors to new potentials. If it's true, you're not alone in this. I'd like to help. His words were like a light bursting through a fog. In that moment, feeling raw yet exposed, Jenna realized this was what she needed. Not the answer to a question that hung so precariously over her, but someone willing to share the load. You mean it? He nodded. Absolutely. If this is happening for you, then we can approach it together. Just then, Mia scampered back, her joyous leaps cutting through the tension. Mommy, are you dancing? She beamed, raw energy overflowing. No, sweetheart. Mama's just talking a bit, Jenna said, steeling herself. Carter's reassurance hovered in the air like an embrace. Are we gonna dance? Mia tugged on her mother's hand, eyes sparkling with eagerness. Yes, let us go dance, Jenna exclaimed, her heart buoyed by possible futures and new beginnings. As they settled into the group stretching together, Jenna felt the crack in her heart begin to heal, the fear giving way to something softer: hope. Minutes passed, and the instructor led them into warm-up exercises. Jenna found her rhythm with the music, her worries fading with each sway and stretch. Mia was all giggles, swaying her tiny body in time with the older dancers, her infectious enthusiasm lighting up the room. With each beat, Jenna envisioned a new tapestry of life woven from resilience, laughter, and a hint of dance. She didn't know how everything would unfold, but clarity started to rise like a new dawn. After the class, with adrenaline still pumping through their veins, Carter and Mia waved goodbye to the other dancers, and Jenna's heart raced at the possibilities that lay ahead. The warmth of friendship began to blossom, and tension melted as they walked together. Jenna, Carter began, and she turned to face him. Whatever happens, I'm here for it. Just let's try and figure this out together. Her heart fluttered with gratitude, a blooming sense of wonder filling the cracks of uncertainty. Thank you, she breathed out, her smile genuine. As they reached the parking lot, Carter added, maybe you'll be a dancer on stage someday after all. And if not, well, that's okay too. Before Jenna could speak, her phone buzzed again, her heart fluttering with hope. But this time it was transcendent. I love that. And in that moment, with the sun hovering just above the horizon and hope painting the sky, Jenna felt ready to embrace whatever awaited her, whatever secret dreams and bold adventures the future held. Not because she feared the unknown, but because she knew she no longer had to face it alone. This was the moment to take life by the hand and dance. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. True fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.